So it's a nasty overcast day, and I figured, what the heck, we're going to stop off since we're in Williamsburg. This is the Lightfoot Antique Mall. I do find stuff in here occasionally that's, sometimes it's a little off the wall, but people rotate stuff in and out of here a little more than the other places. So let's go in here and take a look and see what we can find. Hopefully something. Because I am the display case rescue guy. So there you go. Who knew? There was one reel specifically I was going in there for, and that was a Sears reel that I had planned on doing a video on. Little did I know I was going to go in there and find 4 more. So I got 5 reels. 5. 3 100Bs, 1 Sears, and 1 Japan something. That worked. The Japan something works. I don't know what name it is or where it came from, and I don't know any way to find out. So, but anyway, I got 5. Was that it? 1, 2, 3, 4, carry the 1. Yeah, 5. 5 reels for $42. One of them has a crack in the foot, and it's actually broke off. But that's okay. I can find 100B bodies all over the place. Plus, like I said, you always need parts, guys. So let's take these things home, take a look at them, and see what we can do with them eventually. Man, I am going to have so many reels that I need to fish with this spring and summer. I don't know that I'm going to be able to remember. I'm going to have to go through my videos to be able to remember all the reels that I've gotten and need to go fish with. I don't know that that's a bad thing, though. Anyway, let's head home. So, here we are back at the house, and it's very seldom that I ever get back to the house and I have a sack of reels, or in today's world, a plastic bag full of reels, or as we like to call these, a Newport News tumbleweed. You probably have them growing around your neck of the woods as well. On a good windy day, you'll see the Newport News tumbleweed come blowing down the road. People pick your trash up. Very seldom do I ever go into a place where I come out with more than 1 or 2. Today, 5. That's right. There was one that I really went in there particularly to get because my buddy Chris from the Lightfoot Antique Mall, I called him on the phone and I check with him every so often to see if anything has come in. And he had called me about, let's see if I can find it, this reel right here. That's right. This is a Sears, made for Sears, I should say. I'm going to give you the incredibly long number that's on the side of this thing. It is a number .779.312324. Little overkill there, but it's regardless, that's what it is. And if you take a good look at it, you're going to see exactly what it is kind of based on, which is what today's video was technically supposed to be about. This reel is loosely based on what a Johnson Century would be. Really the way it's put together, the way it's screwed together, the way it works, which it does work, by the way. Everything does what it's supposed to do. It has a anti-reverse switch on there. Made in Japan. I have no idea what year it is. I don't know anything about it. But the reason I went to get it was because I was going to do something today based on reels that kind of copied the Johnson Century citations and things like that, which you can obviously see that one does. For Sears, obviously, the time frame, I don't know. There's no obviously about it. It's new to me. Maybe it's new to you. That was the whole reason that I went up there. Little did I know, very little did I know, because I know very little, that I would come across another version of some form of Japanese reel. Yes, this is Japanese. It says on the bottom, it simply states Japan. Has a very big opening for the nose cap there, very much like a Daiwa would be. Some of the other Daiwas, I guess you'd say. have that large nose cap opening for the string, for the line, sorry. You have a rolling drag button up top. And to be honest, it works quite well. It's not very beat up, pretty good shape. It used to have some form of nameplate on the side, but I mean, there's nothing on here saying what it is. And with that plate missing, I've got no idea. Very thin button. Should still work. But as you can see, they chose green. Why? Because they're copying something. Come on. But it does work. Again, down to that whole little did I know thing, that I would go in there and find not just one, not just two, but three of those darn green reels. The real green reel. Yeah. Now, this video is going to be about, it was going to be just about this reel here, but I think we're actually going to do both of these little Japanese reels here. The one for Sears and whatever this one is. I'm going to have to look this up. Maybe while I'm cleaning it, I will go further in depth with this thing and see if we can figure out if it had a name, where it came from. Well, we know where it came from. It does have an anti-reverse. It does have a very loose and sloppy crank arm, and it's very small. This would be really good for a child, for a baby. But we're going to work on that one second. We're going to work on the Sears first. That's the big thing. So let's get you down to the table here and get this thing tore apart and see what we can find going on inside of the Sears 779-31-23-24 Spin Cast Reel from 19... Alright, we've got two bowls here just in case. Hopefully you can see everything alright. First thing we're going to do is take this cap off. There are some numbers, patent numbers and things on the side of here that you can't really read very well, which I'm sure once I'm done cleaning you will not be able to see anymore. That's going to be sad, but if regardless it's going to get cleaned. Yeah, I don't know what all those, they're just patent numbers. Somebody's patented it. There is your made in Japan. It looks like that ring is still in pretty good shape. This looks like some kind of plastic. That's fine. We'll clean all that up. Okay, that came off easy. That's good. No broken parts yet. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. That must not be steel. That right there, the retrieval slide for the pin, could very easily have been for a Johnson Century. Well, that's steel. Okay, on here we have a C-clip holding on the drag washer. I need a little tiny flathead screwdriver. I like you even though you got a flathead. Pretty sure that's what the Bride of Frankenstein used to sing to Frankie. I like you even though you got a flathead. Put that in there. Ugh. Okay, well that came off fairly hard. But we have two drag washers. We have one that was on the top of the spool, one down here on the bottom, underneath the spool. Grease has got that thing on there. I'm afraid I'm going to break it. We might have to clean that up while it's on there. Oh, there it goes. It came off. Okay, we also, let's see. I don't think this thing was used very much. We'll put that drag washer there. We have a, this is for your drag. It pushes up on the bottom of this for your drag adjustment and just pushes it harder against the bottom of the spool. That is how she works. That's how it rolls. And it is evidently made of steel as well. Now, this one, just like a Johnson, you take the two screws out. It looks like the crank comes off in your hand over here. And it is really the only way to do it, so let's just do it. Nothing to it but to do it. Screws don't appear to be made of steel. They probably are a coated brass or something. And they very possibly could break off just like the Shakespeare's do. So we're going to be very careful with that. Yep, very, very similar to, well, how does that work? We'll set that down here for right now. Let's take the button out, put our plastic parts in there. Now, does it work just like, yep, it does. That's basically just like a Johnson Century. Hey, let's take this cover off over here. My goodness, that's made of steel. Now, will it do just like the Johnson, and will it come out? Yep, it does. Definitely got to clean that up. Now that goes in here. Now let's take a look at this drag device. How does that work? That's got a push pin. Oh, I see. Okay, that looks easy enough. Okay, there's a pin that goes through all the way from one side to the other, and that piece there, when you push in or screw into it, it pushes down, which pushes up on the bottom of the drag plate, thereby creating drag. Let's take that pin out, kind of like the pin on a float for a carburetor for a lawnmower. No, that goes in here. All metal parts go in here. Looks like it just has a little flathead screw or a Phillips, depending on what you want to use. There is a spring in there, so let's be very cautious about sending the spring into orbit. We're going to separate that screw from the others and put it in there. What kind of spring is that? That's a crazy little spring. It's kind of opened its mouth up like kind of a Miss Pac-Man kind of thing. And you can adjust that just seriously just by like a Johnson. There's some stolen plans going on here. Put all the drag stuff right there. All right, let's take this thing to the sink and clean this up. Then after we get this cleaned up, we will put the drag and all that back together and the gear back in, which seems to look fine. There's a washer on there I just noticed. And we'll put the bottom half back together before we take that apart. Okay, I'm back with the bottom half cleaned up here. The case is cleaning up really well. I actually really love this strange color of green that they have used. But I mean, that's cleaning up really good. I mean, that's very impressive with how well that's cleaning up. So, let's get this bottom half put back together again. I'm gonna get it all dried off here real quick. I will tell you that the grease that whoever used on this particular reel used is the hardest grease I've ever seen. It hardened up to almost like a rock formation. I did have some crystallize in one of the reels I've done previous, but this one actually is hard as a rock. I mean, I was very, very surprised. I had to chisel a lot of it away. Now, let's see if we can remember how to put it back together. Pretty sure I can get all over that without any problem. But let's get some grease out here. This is brass as well. We'll screw that in there. Get a little grease on the threads. Now we put our little ramp in here. Hey, hey, hey. All right, that's back in there. That looks right now. Okay, so the pin goes through the drag thing. All right, now we'll put our spring back over here. Look how nice that drag button cleaned up. Put that over here. Put us a little bit of grease there. Keep those threads from getting locked into place. Next will be our gear. if I hold on to it, will be this gear. Also on this reel, you have that hole that you'll notice through the middle of the shaft right there, the shaft housing. You can stick a screwdriver through there and turn that to take it out if you need to clean it or it's broken or whatever, or just to install it. I highly doubt that it has ever come out since the day it was put in, and there's no real reason to take it out, to be honest with you. By the way, the washer is on the base of the, you see it there? That's right. And there we go. The bottom half at this point is put together as closely as much as we can. So, got to take that nut off there. We got us a star washer under there. Crank arm wiggles on off of there. Definitely need to clean that up. That there. And this gear should come right out. Wow, she is thick though. My goodness. Do we have any washers? I'm not seeing any. Set that there. Let's see if that's a oh, that is a washer. Always check. Okay? Always check and make sure there's washers or whatever, because you will be very, very surprised at how many times I've thought there was no washer there and there turns out to be one. Cleaning this is going to be touchy because there's a spring right here and it goes around that arm and then hooks onto that lever, causing it to pop backwards. But we're going to do our best to clean that up without having to take it apart, because it's really not necessary. Is it a washer? Ah, it is. Glad I saw that. There's a washer on the outside of the housing as well as on the inside. Are they identical? I don't know. We'll put that over there. Anyway, let's take this to the sink and get that washed up. Okay, it's actually been an hour or more. Actually, probably more. Had to go do some things after I cleaned the reel up, but now that it's cleaned up, I am seeing a fairly nice made reel. I'm not seeing anything here that really makes me think that it's just a sorry excuse of a copy or nothing. It's some thought was put into this reel. I'm seeing that. So what we're going to do is get this put back together here. It's all cleaned up really well. I think some of the metal is not all that, but it's not junky. I mean, it's if you would have bought this back in the day, from what I'm seeing here, it's not a junky reel. I think you probably could have used this thing for probably a pretty good while. All right, let's see. We need a washer. I'm going to put the washer that came back out of that spot back in that spot. So we're going to put it back on here, because that is where that washer came from. Now what I'm going to do is just slide it part the way in there, so the middle section that actually holds the oil will be sticking out just enough that I can drop it in there and it'll go right on in there around there. Yeah, like that. Alright, now we have to put the other washer on. That washer went there. Oh, see, now this is not a D shape. This is a, I don't know, kind of an O shape, but square on both ends. Our little star washer. All right. We're clicking. Next, we will go with the body here. We will put our button in. Come on now. There we go. There we go. I'll show you how this plate cleaned up. Look how that plate cleaned up. You can see it. How nice that looks. Just snug them down a little bit. Don't think it matters which one of these goes where, but that there. See how our spool cleaned up really nice. Then we will put on our other drag washer. Put our C-clip back on. Here's our rotor, cleaned up really nice. If it wasn't for this rubber piece up top of here, I would swear that this is a Johnson made rotor. And we will put our pinion nut back on to hold the rotor down if I can get it to catch. We will use our screwdriver for this one. Working fine. So here we are doing that thing. I am going to simply say that if I would have bought this reel, I feel like I could have used it for a very long time back when it was new. Would I have bought this over top of a Johnson Century or a Citation or something? No, probably not. But I'm going to tell you what, I could have used this reel very easily. Now, I haven't had it out on the water yet and got no idea what it'll do. But as far as it goes, mechanically speaking, this thing works good. The anti-reverse works fine. I don't like the switch. The switch is kind of goofy, but I mean, it's working. It even has an adjuster. You can, if you look at the switch there's two screws that you can actually adjust. And I don't understand what you're adjusting there, and why you would want to adjust that, I don't know. 779.312324, Sears and Roebuck Company, spin cast reel that I know nothing about. I would love to sit here and tell you I do, but I don't, because I'd be lying if I told you that. So there you go, Sears and Roebuck spin cast reel, kind of a copy of a Century, or even kind of a copy of an Abu Garcia, Abumatic kind of thing, but yet still has its own personality. So I'm actually looking forward to getting that one out there. This one's going to be cool. I'd like to give this one a try. Very cool to sometimes come across stuff that's so different yet really gets its style from something else. Well, anyway, hope you enjoyed that. That was cool. We've got 4 other reels down here to go through at some point. Really want to tear into that. Just because. I don't know what it is. Really wish the name tag was on it, because there's no indication in any way, shape, or form of what that is. I got no idea. So anyway, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. This was fun. This was a good day, a really good day. 5 reels, 3 Johnson Century 100Bs, a Sears and Roebuck, and no idea. But it's $42 is what I spent for all 5 reels, $42. I don't have a problem with that at all. All of them seem to function, and I think all of them will eventually be out and easy to go fishing with. If not, I got some parts. Gotta have parts. Thank you guys for watching. Totally appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you on the next one. Whatever the next one may be. See ya. I really want to use this. This is going to be fun. And fun's what it's all about. Hey, boo, isn't fun what it's all about? Let's go have some fun.